It well and truly is the time of Christmas for Minecraft. With a new title update on the way in the coming days, it's time to find out what's in the update and how we can prepare for it. But welcome everybody back to another episode on the Siege SMP server. That's right, we're back, and today is episode... No, it's not 12 because episode 11 will have not aired. This is episode 11 because I messed up my previous recording session. So, in today's episode, I want to discuss with you what is being added to the new title update, because it is absolutely massive. It is the biggest list change log I've ever seen for the console version. I also want to show you some changes I've made to the skeleton farm. Well, skeleton farm, I say skeleton farm. It's the arena now, because they're all part of the same thing, because I've started looking at the redstone mechanics behind how rounds are going to get set up and how I'm going to activate all the different doors. So, we'll start with the title update because that's what you'll all be interested in, and either next episode or the one after will be in that update. I just love the fact that the update's actually here. I'm so shocked, my hands are slightly shaky. The fact that this is an amplified modded world, we kind of already have most of the biomes that have been added, or going to be added, should I say. If you're watching this after the updates come out, I guess it's that have been added, but tenses, what can you do about it? But we'll start with we'll start down in the new biome section, since most of them are in this world. Ones we don't have in this world is a mesa. We seem to have most of the others. I think we don't have a deep ocean, and I think we don't have a snowless tiger either. Because obviously we've got Mega Tiger near Mark's base, we've got Roof Forest, we've got Birch Forest, Savannah. That's another one we don't have. Savannah and Mesa. And the rest of them, Deep Ocean, Snowless Tiger, and some new technical biomes. Technical biomes will just be the names of them, so it'd be just like Mesa Plateau, and things like that. It's just little changes. We've also got some new mobs coming in the game, which have been in the PC version for a while. I honestly thought one of these was already in our game. I just thought I'd never seen one before. And that's the chicken jockey. I honestly thought we'd had them, but I guess we hadn't. Obviously, we're getting the Endermite from when you throw Ender Pearls. It has a chance to spawn an Endermite. And it works the same way with Endermen. If they teleport, then Endermites can spawn. The Guardian, which is the new boss, the Elder Guardian, which spawns in the Sea Temples with all the new Prismarine blocks, the Sea Lanterns, things like that. We'll probably end up spawning a new world just to try and fight one. We'll generate one with a Guardian Temple in, and we might do a mini-series. Or maybe it might be part of this series. We might go to a different world to explore the new features. We don't know yet. So a Guardian, Elder Guardian, and then obviously a passive mob in the Rabbit. So obviously the main changes that we've got a couple of new items coming into the game. Mostly we've got armor stands, the new types of rabbit, so raw rabbit, cooked rabbit, like you would with food, and then rabbit stew, that'll be a new one. We're getting mutton, so sheep will actually be really, really useful. Since I'm building a pirate ship, I'm going to need wool for my sail, so a sheep farm might not be too bad, because A, it will give us food if we kill them, and we'll get wool if we share them, so that's a win-win for sheep now. And then obviously more stuff from rabbits to do with potions. We've got rabbit hide, which if you get 4 of them, you can make 1 piece of leather. Is really, really a lot of a rip-off. There's no other purpose to them at all that I know of. And then obviously rabbit's foot is used in the potion of leaping, if I'm not mistaken. And they're really rare to get. We've also got all the new potions we're getting. Potion of leaping, as I've just mentioned. And then potion of water breathing, which comes from a pufferfish. Some of you'll have to correct me on that if I'm stating some of this wrong, because this is all I've got. I don't play the PC version a lot. I use it just for MC Edit, as you guys would probably figure out. And most of the other items is just all the new flowers, so I'm not going to go through the list, because some of them are awkward to say. And you guys know what the flowers are anyway. And obviously we've mentioned all the Prismarine stuff already. Some creative mode stuff that I'm not really interested in. The new blocks. Ooh, new blocks. I'm really excited for some new blocks, because when I repopulate this world on MC Edit again, we'll get all of these in our world, which will be really, really cool, which means we don't have to start a new world. So, Podzol, which will spawn in the Tiger biome, we'll end up with granite and polished granite. So, granite, andesite, diorite. I think they're the 3. You can make polished versions of all 3 of them, so they'll spawn in the caves and stuff, which will be really cool to spot. Red sand, sandstone, and all that lot for the red sand all comes from the mesa biome. Sadly, we don't have a mesa in this world, so we will not get red sand unless something changes. And then obviously sea lanterns, all coming from the temple. All the prismarine blocks. Wet sponge, which is, I think, a loot reward you can get from killing the Elder Guardian, which is a really cool boss fight. I've seen that before, and I really like the mechanics behind it, how you have the mining fatigue and stuff like that. But yeah, and coarse dirt, so dirt that doesn't turn into grass, packed ice, and then the saplings. The main one in the blocks that I'm really looking forward to is the slime blocks, because that will really change most of the redstone that we like to do. It can lift masses and masses and masses of stuff. It means suddenly blocks like furnaces and crafting tables you can lift with a slime block. Furnaces and obsidian will become very, very useful. That's why this obsidian floors down as well if I use slime blocks. It doesn't get in the way. But yeah, I have made a chest outside the arena with most of the stuff in. Oh, hi, Guy. How you doing? Thanks. Oh, I was going to eat that, but it didn't spawn in the right inventory slot. There we go. So we've got this chest over here, which I've been collecting all the new stuff for, or stuff that I'm going to use. So most of this I'll get to in a second. So updated features. The feature I'm most looking forward to is fishing. The changes to fishing, just the fact that you can fish up name tags and enchanted books, enchanted bows, really entices me to do some fishing. Obviously, it's still dead dull and boring. You get the nice particle effects now and stuff. But yeah, some pretty cool stuff. Obviously, some new enchants coming into the game. The two for the fishing rod, which you'll get lure, luck of the sea. Unbreaking, I think, is coming onto the other stuff, so you might end up seeing unbreaking on stuff that you don't normally see. So you might get that on a fishing rod. You might get it on a bow and a sword. Now I think you can get them on. Don't quote me on that, because I'm honestly not too sure. Obviously, enchanting has now been rebalanced with the lapis changes that they have. So it's 1 lapis, 2 lapis, 3 lapis. That's why I'm not spending the levels I've got, because I know that it's much more difficult to get to level 30 now. But when you get there, XP is almost pointless. So our skeleton farm will turn into one of those grind to level 30 and just hold yourself there. Or it'll be one of those quick blitzes up the 3 levels from 30 to 33 and then do your enchantment. And then you can do a second one back down to 27, but I'd rather stay at 30, if you know what I mean. Enchanted books can receive multiple enchantments at once, so we can end up with like sharpness 4, projectile protection 2, so you'd obviously pick the sharpness over that. Villagers have had a massive redo. So obviously it's all the changes to now that they have more professions and basically trading schemes. They now harvest crops, which I think is so cool, and their way to breed is going to get changed completely. So this is why I've held off on doing an iron farm, because I knew the changes to villagers was going to happen. Speaking of the changes, just looking through the list so I kind of keep myself refreshed on it, we've got nether portals changing, so you can make massive nether portals now, which means no more even-numbered nether portals in odd-numbered bases. Oh, that's going to be brilliant. I can make 3x3 portals now properly. Other changes I've been looking at, obviously the anvils got changed, so you can actually rename stuff that isn't overpriced and stuff. Furnaces, obviously crack stone, brick and sponge, you can smelt to dry them out and crack them. Item frames can now emit a redstone signal in 8 directions, so a pulse length can be different depending on how you spin a thing. That could also work as to how you activate a new level on the game. It could be an 8-level game and you could spin the thing down in different directions, and you could just go level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. Unless that's difficulty, like for spawning, because maybe you could set it to a certain difficulty and it changed how many lights are spawning in the skeleton farm, maybe. That'd be a cool idea. The comparator can obviously check the item frame stuff, because that's how it works. Buttons can be placed on on all sides of a block. That's cool. Cauldron can basically stop people being on fire in the nether. So if you're ever doing UHCs, bring a cauldron into the nether with you and a bucket of water. Sponge, we've kind of discussed already. Sugarcane changing colour. Baby zombies drop XP. These are kind of just bug fixes, really. Jungle biomes can now spawn melons, and it's mostly just where the where other stuff changes, and then there's obviously some changes and some bug fixes. The only really other change that I think's cool, but I don't think anybody's ever going to use really too much. Actually, there's a couple of them. Most mobs can swim. Skeletons flee from wolves, so we can use them in the farm to make the skeletons run quicker. And you can now get mob heads in survival mode from charged creepers killing enemies. But yeah, I think everything else I've pretty much covered. So now I've yabbered on long enough about the update changes. It's probably been like 10 minutes worth of content just there, me talking about it. Get the hype train rolling. That should be down. Let's go and kill these down here. Get some more XP. Okay, there isn't any down here. That is good. Is there any... Oh, there's some new bows in here. Somebody's been using it. Whoa, power 3. Okay, that's a good bow. But yeah, so let's have a look at what I've been doing down here then. So these are currently how you can activate the doors. I'm going to put levers next to them if I had them. So obviously, you'd have a block. The block would be here. The torch would be there, unless the block would run this way. Need a control panel where you can flick the different doors. But to be honest, I think we should have an override where if there's a certain amount of mobs backing up into a tunnel, they stand on the pressure plates up there, like, you know, like the weighted pressure plates, and basically by using them, the mobs can decide what's going on. Basically, the mobs can force themselves into the arena. And we actually haven't got a design for the top of the arena yet, funnily enough, because I don't know what the first design's going to be. I don't know what theme to go with. I might go with like a Guardian theme or something. Maybe just get some of the blocks and just make it look really, really cool. But yeah, so these are the 3 doorways. I haven't done anything with the skeletons yet, but the skeletons are going to come out of this door if possible. I was just figuring this out, and I just thought, just looking at redstone tutorials for detectors, I built one of these on an old arena, but it was a much bigger, much more complicated version back when we didn't have hoppers. So this is a monostable circuit. Obviously, there's only one item in there. It's just a little button, because that's what I had on me at the time. So basically, this extra dust here, this one basically just allows it to pump the, there's a button in this hopper. No, it'll be down here, because this light's on. Yep. So basically, if I press the button now, all the lights will go off, because of where, yeah. The button should now be where this dust is, because it gives it enough time that it shoots the button up here, turns all of this off, allows it to move over 1 hopper before it turns back on again. So basically, when it gets to here, it just goes do and back to here. And this one, obviously being connected to no comparator, allows all the lights to be off. And if I press it again, this is the player in the arena. I'm thinking of putting these in the floor, so it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 rounds seems reasonable. Maybe 6 or 7. I'll have to look into it. It might be more complicated than I think, because progression is an awkward thing. Because I've done it with CTM maps before, but general progression is actually really difficult in, how do I put this now, in anything really. If you try and do general progression without giving players too much overpowered stuff, because you want to make this difficult, so it's going to be very little progression. And I need to figure out where their loot systems are, because they're both in this wall, so they're going to be there and there. So these walls will be dug out so they can actually get in there. I think the person running the game will manually put the loot in, so obviously the loot will come up from the skeleton farm. There'll be a switch that has a dropper lift. It'll shoot them up and it'll just go 1, 2, 3, and you just get random loot. You can select what they get at certain points. If there's something overpowered the game host thinks the player doesn't want or doesn't deserve, then they won't get it. But yeah, so then round 1, I've got outputs here on the sides as well, because I feel like redstone, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and back to 0. But yeah, that's all the redstone I'm coming up with so far. It's just little bits here and there, and then at one point it'll all get pieced together into one final product of an arena. But yeah, the main thing though I'm really looking forward to though is the new title update coming next week, which is really, really exciting because it's in final testing now, which means it's not long until it finally arrives. So you may see like a side series come off of this one. We might just do we'll go through a portal or something, and we'll just end up in a different world, so we can try out some of the new features, explore some of the biomes. Because if we had like a side world, that'd be cool. If we had like a second world, that'd be really confusing. But the plan though is when this world eventually goes to the Xbox One, we'll have all the new biomes anyway. I just want to put like a zoo wall around the outside of the entire place. Now, I'll just copy and paste a little segment. Like, if we get a design going for it, then I'll just copy and paste the design around it. But that's not into the near future anywhere near, because basically not many people have the Xbox One yet. But yeah, so this is obviously the clock. I've discussed more of the stuff, but yeah, the last thing I wanted to discuss with you though was the zombie spawner. Now, I know we've got one spawner, but I feel like it'd be much better, A, if this was moved, and B, if it was in, like, if you came down the stairs. Now, you see where these stairs are here? Wasn't it be cooler if there was some on this side that did exactly the same pattern, and it was the same shape, and then you could have the zombie control panel here, and you could have villager purifier, you could have arena. You wouldn't use crusher, because there'd be only 2 zombie spawners down there. It wouldn't be a killing chamber. That would be a spot purpose use only one. Because it'll be, actually, no, there'll be 3 purposes for it. There'll be the armor farm, which is basically going to be a neutral, so it'll have no change. And then there'll be, so I can obviously fit 3 things on here. So there'll be the light switch on and off to shut them off, villager purifier, armor farm. So basically, separating the non-stackable and the bows around, so they'll fire across, and they'll go through the zombie farm like on a loop timer. So I'll figure it out. A 5-minute timer is a despawn timer. So we need to figure out something to stop that happening. So yeah, villager purifier, the lights, the non-stackable item separator, and I had another one, and I've completely it's gone out of my head, but I'm sure it'll be villager purifier, won't it? Purifier. I've said that like 4 times. What am I going on about? But yeah, I feel it'd be cool. You'll come down, they're like, ooh, zombie control panel, skeleton control panel. And then wouldn't it be cooler if we had a spider control panel on this side with spider spawners? And then, but then you can't do a lot with spider spawners because that's a string farm. Yeah, we'd probably just have like a honeycomb monster spawner on this side, and we funnel all the mobs up. Including, I'd do a spider one. Do you know, like the giant platforms where the enemies walk into it? And then I'd have to figure out a way of separating creepers. Zombies go towards villagers. Skeletons will run away from wolves. That's a mob separator. And obviously, spiders are 2x2. We could make a mob separator to get rid of creepers, and we can crush them so that they don't blow up the arena. Oh, that is brilliant idea. But while I'm ending on brilliant ideas, I hope you have all enjoyed this episode of the Siege SMP server. Title update is coming soon, and I'm dead excited for it. And until then, I will see you all again in the next one.